The desert stretched to forever, a broken sea of rust-colored stone and shimmering heat. Out there, men either found gold, trouble, or their own graves. Cole Maddox had found a little of each. He rode with a slow, deliberate rhythm, his horse's hooves thudding against the parched earth like a weary heartbeat. The wind carried the dry smell of sage and gunpowder, and somewhere beyond the ridge, thunder murmured like a threat. Cole wasn't looking for salvation that day. He was hunting a man named Wyatt Creed, a bounty worth $600 dead or alive, though Cole had never brought one back alive. But fate has a way of shifting in the desert, as sudden and violent as a dust storm. He found her near the wreckage of a stagecoach. The coach lay on its side, horses gone, one wheel still spinning slow and useless in the sand. Smoke rose from a shattered lantern, curling through the sun-hazed air. Cole dismounted, hand resting on his revolver, eyes sweeping for movement. Buzzards circled high above, their dark wings cutting across the light like black blades. Then he heard it, a sound that didn't belong. Not the creak of metal or cry of a bird, but the softest plea. "Help her, please." He turned toward the voice. Behind a half-fallen wheel, tangled in brush and blood, was a woman. Her dress, once white, was torn and dust-stained, her dark hair clinging to her face. She wasn't dead, not yet, but close enough to feel death's breath. Cole crouched beside her. "Easy now. You're gonna be all right." Her eyes fluttered open. They were green, sharp even through the pain. "They took the others." "Who did?" Cole asked, scanning the horizon. "Men, in black coats. Took the gold. Said they'd come back for me." Cole's jaw tightened. Creed's men. It figured. He cut the brush away and lifted her gently. She winced, clutching at his arm. He could feel the tremor in her fingers, fear, exhaustion, maybe both. When he laid her across his horse, she whispered something he barely caught. "Don't take me home." He looked down, frowning. "Ma'am." She forced her eyes open. "Please, don't take me. Back there." Before he could ask what she meant, she went limp, unconscious but breathing. Cole exhaled slowly, the weight of a mystery settling heavier than the desert sun. He swung into the saddle, turned his horse toward the nearest town, Redemption Ridge, and rode hard. Redemption Ridge wasn't much. A few saloons, a blacksmith, a sheriff's office that was more dust than law. When Cole rode in carrying the woman, people stared. Folks in the West didn't trust strangers, especially not ones that looked like trouble, and Cole Maddox looked like the kind of trouble that left holes in things. He brought her to the doctor's shack at the edge of town. Old Doc Enders took one look and shook his head. "She's lucky you found her. Another hour in that sun and she'd be a ghost. She said some men took others. You hear anything about a stage hit on the Creed Trail?" Doc dabbed blood from her forehead. "Heard gunfire early this morning. Sheriff's out there now, looking for survivors." Cole leaned against the wall. "If Creed's behind it, Sheriff won't find much but bodies." Doc gave him a hard look. "You got a habit of finding trouble, Maddox." Cole's answer was a slow smirk. "Trouble's got a habit of finding me." Hours passed. The woman finally stirred, eyes flicking around the room like a cornered fox. She sat up fast when she saw Cole. "Where am I?" "Doctor's place," Cole said, tipping his hat. "Found you out by the ridge. Stagecoach was ambushed." Her gaze softened a little. "You saved me." "Guess I did," he said. "You got a name?" She hesitated. "Alara." "All right, Miss Alara. Any reason you didn't want me taking you home?" At that, she looked away. The silence was heavy, the kind that tells a man more than words ever could. Finally, she said, "Because home isn't safe. And if they find me there, they'll kill everyone I care about." Cole studied her, trying to read what she wasn't saying. "Who are they?" She met his eyes, and the fear there turned to something sharper, anger. "Wyatt Creed." Cole froze, thumb brushing the worn handle of his revolver. "You sure about that name?" "I'm sure. I used to ride with him." That was all he needed to hear. The air in the room felt colder suddenly. Creed wasn't just a bounty. He was a ghost from Cole's own past. The man who'd burned his family's ranch to the ground. Alara noticed the change in his expression. "You know him?" "Yeah," Cole said quietly. "We've met." By sundown, the doctor had gone home, and the town was quiet. Cole sat outside, watching the last light fade over the ridge. He rolled a cigarette, struck a match, and let the smoke trail into the evening. Behind him, The door creaked. Alara stepped out, wearing a borrowed coat. "You're leaving," she said. He nodded. "Creed's not far. If I ride now, I might catch him before he gets to the border. You'll die if you go alone." Cole glanced at her. "Wouldn't be the first time I tried." She stepped closer, eyes steady. "Then take me with you. I know where he's headed." He frowned. "You just said you didn't want to go home." "I don't," she said. "But if Creed gets what he's after, no one will have a home left to go to." Cole studied her for a long moment, the wind tugging at his coat. Something in her voice, the calm defiance, reminded him of himself. Years ago, before the world turned mean. Finally, he nodded. "All right, but when this is over, you tell me everything." "I will," she said. "Just promise me one thing." "What's that?" Her gaze held his, fierce and pleading. "If I don't make it, don't carry me home." Cole's cigarette burned down to ash between his fingers. He tossed it aside, jaw set. "You're macking it. I ain't burying anyone else Creed's touched." They saddled up under a blood-red moon, the desert stretching before them like an endless graveyard. Somewhere out there, Creed was waiting, and the hunt had just begun. The night air bit colder as Cole Maddox and Alara rode out of Redemption Ridge. The moon, swollen and pale, hung over the desert like a lantern for ghosts. The wind whispered across the mesas, carrying with it the faint rattle of dry brush and distant thunder. Somewhere out there, Wyatt Creed and his gang were moving fast, and Cole meant to be faster. They rode in silence for miles. Only the rhythm of hooves and the faint jingle of spurs filled the air. Cole's mind turned circles, chasing thoughts he didn't want to face. Creed alive meant the past wasn't done with him, and the woman riding beside him wasn't just a survivor. She was part of the story that started his war. At last, Alara spoke. "You keep glancing east. You think he went that way?" Cole nodded slightly. "He'll ride for the border towns. Creed always liked to hide where law don't reach. You know him that well?" Cole's hand brushed his revolver. "Used to ride with him, before I learned he'd sell his own brother for gold." Alara looked away. "Then we both made the same mistake." For a while, neither spoke. The trail narrowed through a canyon of red stone, shadows stretching like claws. Cole's instincts flared. "Something's wrong," he muttered. He dismounted, crouched low, and touched the sand. Fresh hoof prints, too many. He motioned for Alara to stay behind a rock, then drew his Colt. Moments later, a shot split the silence. The bullet screamed past Cole's shoulder. He spun, fired once, and a man toppled from a ridge above, rifle tumbling after him. Two more shapes rose in the rocks, Creed's men. The canyon erupted in thunder. Cole moved like smoke and fire, each step deliberate, each shot precise. Gunpowder filled the air. Sparks lit the stone. One bandit fell clutching his chest, another dove behind cover. Alara snatched a dropped pistol and fired a single shot that struck true. When the echoes finally died, only wind remained. Cole checked the bodies. Scouts, Creed's nearby. Alara reloaded shakily, her hands trembling just once before she steadied them. "Then we keep moving." Cole gave her a long look, respect flickering behind his tired eyes. "You handle yourself better than most men I've ridden with." "I had to learn fast," she said. "Creed doesn't leave his mistakes alive." By dawn, they reached the old mining camp at Devil's Run, half-collapsed buildings, rusted carts, and silence that tasted like dust. Cole tied the horses and motioned for quiet. Inside one of the shacks, they found tracks, boot prints, supplies, and a burned-out campfire. Creed's mark was carved into the wall, a coiled serpent around a star. Cole's jaw hardened. "He's close," he said. "Too close." Alara's eyes lingered on the carving. "You ever wonder why he never came for you?" "He did," Cole replied. "He just didn't finish the job." She frowned. "Then why hunt him now?" "Revenge." Cole's voice was low. "Justice. There's a difference." "Not out here," she said quietly. He didn't answer. They rested for a short while. Alara cleaned her pistol, humming under her breath, an old tune from the frontier. Cole leaned against the wall, eyes half closed but mind wide awake. "Creed trusts no one," Alara said suddenly. "If we find him, we won't just be facing him. He's got men loyal to gold and fear." "I've dealt with worse," Cole said. "No," she said, shaking her head. "You don't understand. He's after something bigger than gold." Cole opened his eyes. "What?" She hesitated, then spoke softly. A shipment from the army, rifles, ammunition, and a ledger naming every lawman paid to look away. If Creed gets that list, he controls the whole border. Cole stood. Then we can't let him reach it. Alara met his gaze. That's why I said don't take me home. That ledger's hidden there. My father's ranch. He used to work for Creed before he tried to stop him. They killed him for it. Cole's expression darkened. You led me straight into his plan. No, she said, voice trembling with anger. I'm leading you to end it. By afternoon, the wind picked up, turning the air thick with sand. They rode hard toward the ridge overlooking Alara's old ranch, a patch of green clinging to the wasteland, distant smoke rising from its edge. Too late, Cole muttered. Through the haze, he saw men on horseback circling the homestead. Creed's riders. Cole drew his rifle, eyes narrowing. You stay back. Alara shook her head. He'll expect you. He won't expect me. Before he could argue, she spurred her horse down the slope, dust flying. Cole cursed under his breath and followed. The gunfight hit fast and fierce. Cole's rifle barked lightning. Alara darted between cover, drawing the enemy's aim. Bullets tore through the yard. One struck a lantern that burst into fire. The ranch's dry fence crackled and blazed. Cole caught sight of Creed at last, tall, broad, black hat low over his eyes. His smile was pure poison. Maddox, he shouted over the chaos. I figured hell couldn't hold you. Cole fired. Creed ducked, laughing, and vanished into the smoke. When the dust cleared, half the ranch burned. And Creed was gone, but the ledger lay in the dirt, charred but intact. Alara picked it up with trembling hands. He'll come back, she said. I'm counting on it, Cole answered. They watched the horizon burn until dawn painted the desert gold again. The air smelled of smoke and blood. But for the first time, there was something else to resolve. Alara turned to Cole. You said you wanted justice. He nodded. Then you're gonna need me. Cole looked out across the wasteland, where a vulture circled slowly above the ridge. Reckon I might, he said. But after this, no promises. Alara smiled faintly. Didn't ask for any. They rode off toward the sunrise, silhouettes against the flame-red sky, to ghosts chasing one last reckoning.